My friends, the greatest battle you will ever fight is not with the world outside, it's with the weakness within. Every day, there's a voice inside that whispers, rest a little longer. You can do it tomorrow. You're too tired, too busy, too late. And if you listen to that voice long enough, it chains your hands, blinds your purpose, and steals your destiny. Laziness is not just a bad habit. It is a silent destroyer, a slow poison that kills dreams before they are ever born. Many people never lose to the enemy outside. They lose to the comfort inside. They are not defeated because they lack talent or intelligence. They are defeated because they surrender to ease. My friend, laziness doesn't always look like sleeping all day. It often hides in excuses and hesitation. In the words, I'll do it later. But later never comes. If you want to rise, if you want to walk into the purpose you were made for, you must first conquer the laziness that keeps you bound. You must take charge of 4 powerful forces. 4 things that, if left uncontrolled, will destroy your life from within. Your mind, your time, your emotions, and your habits. Laziness is not the same as rest, because rest rebuilds you while laziness ruins you. When a person rests, they renew their energy, refresh their mind, and prepare their body for another day of purpose. But when a person falls into laziness, something inside begins to wither. Laziness is not just sitting still, it is the quiet surrender of your will. It makes you comfortable in your weakness. It teaches you to delay, and soon delay becomes your identity. You tell yourself you're only waiting for the right moment, but in truth, the right moment has been waiting for you. Every time you choose to do nothing when you could do something, you bury a seed of potential. You silence the voice that tells you to rise, and you start listening to the one that tells you to stay still. There is a difference between peace and paralysis. Some people call their laziness peace, but true peace comes from fulfillment, not avoidance. You can't be at peace when deep inside you know you are wasting your time, your gifts, and your life. Laziness promises comfort, but it delivers emptiness. It may give you temporary ease, but it steals long-term satisfaction. The worst part is, it doesn't destroy you overnight. It does it slowly, gently, quietly, until one day you wake up and realize you've lost years you can never get back. Laziness disguises itself well. It doesn't always look like doing nothing. Sometimes it looks like endless scrolling, meaningless conversations, or busy work that avoids real progress. It tricks you into thinking you are occupied while your dreams starve. You convince yourself you're planning, preparing, thinking. But deep down, you're only postponing. Laziness doesn't shout. It whispers, tomorrow. And if you keep listening, tomorrow will keep coming while your purpose keeps fading. You see, laziness isn't a physical weakness. It's a spiritual sickness. It weakens your drive, clouds your vision, and dulls your hunger for growth. The lazy person may still dream big, but they never act big. Their heart burns with desire, but their feet never move. The saddest truth is that the world never sees the greatness inside a lazy person, because greatness is revealed only through effort. No matter how talented you are, no matter how intelligent you may be, laziness will always be stronger than potential if you let it rule your life. Laziness is resistance against your own destiny. It's a rebellion against progress, a quiet refusal to grow. It tells you that rest today won't hurt, but one day turns into 2 into a week, and a week into a wasted year. The tragedy is not in failure, it's in never trying. You can recover from failure, but not from the time laziness steals from you. Every minute you spend avoiding effort is a minute you could have used to build a better version of yourself. The person who learns to defeat laziness becomes unstoppable. Because once you master the art of doing what must be done, whether you feel like it or not, you rise above the limits that hold most people back. The lazy wait for the perfect moment, but the wise create it. The lazy wait for motivation, but the disciplined act their way into it. The lazy live in someday, but the driven live in today. Laziness kills slowly, but discipline gives life daily. And until you understand that difference, you'll keep wondering why your dreams stay dreams. Laziness is the enemy that looks like a friend. It comforts you when you're weak, but abandons you when the consequences come. It tells you that you deserve to relax when you haven't earned it. It tells you there's no rush when in truth, time is running faster than you think. The person who learns to silence that voice, who chooses action over excuse, who understands that comfort is the enemy of calling, that person will rise while others sleep. For life rewards those who move, not those who wait. The greatest war you will ever fight takes place in the battlefield of your own mind. Every victory and every defeat begins with a thought. Before a person gives up outwardly, they have already surrendered inwardly. The mind is the steering wheel of life. It directs your choices, shapes your behavior, and decides whether you rise or remain stuck. When your thoughts are weak, your actions follow. When your thoughts are strong, even the hardest challenges can be conquered. The lazy person loses the fight in the mind long before they ever attempt anything. They convince themselves that it's too hard, too late, or too much effort. That's how laziness gains power. It doesn't chain your body first, it captures your thoughts. If your mind is filled with negativity, procrastination, and fear, then your life will reflect those thoughts. The world outside you is only a mirror of the world inside you. The lazy person thinks in circles. I'll start tomorrow. I'm not ready. Maybe next time. But tomorrow never comes, and next time turns into never. The truth is, your mind believes what you repeat. If you constantly feed it with excuses, you train it to avoid effort. But if you fill it with determination, courage, and belief, your mind will begin to fight for you instead of against you. Everything begins with the decision to think differently. Many people pray for strength, for motivation, for opportunity, but they ignore the fact that strength is born from thought. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if your mind is lazy, none of it will matter. A sharp mind is not one that knows everything, but one that refuses to be ruled by weakness. The person who learns to control their thoughts can endure anything. Because when the mind says, keep going, the body finds a way. But when the mind says, it's too hard, even the strongest body will collapse. Laziness thrives on mental confusion. It whispers that effort is pointless, that success is for others, that failure is certain. It tells you that one more hour of rest won't hurt, that watching one more video won't matter, that skipping one more task won't make a difference. But every small surrender strengthens its grip. If you allow those thoughts to repeat, they grow roots deep inside your thinking, and soon you no longer control them, they control you. That's how people lose their fire. Not because they are incapable, but because they believe the wrong voice for too long. A powerful mind is disciplined. It filters thoughts like a gatekeeper. It doesn't entertain excuses, it doesn't dwell on fear, and it doesn't let doubt stay long enough to build a home. Such a mind understands that emotions change, circumstances shift, but purpose remains. When your mind is focused on your goal, laziness loses its place. You stop saying, I can't, and start asking, how can I? That small shift turns hesitation into progress. The world around you may not change overnight, but your inner world begins to move forward, and that's where every transformation begins. If you want to conquer laziness, you must become the master of your thoughts. You must learn to command your mind instead of letting it command you. When the lazy voice whispers, you can rest a little, you answer, I have a mission. When it says, you're too tired, you respond, I am stronger than my feelings. When it says, you'll fail anyway, you remind yourself that failure is only final when you stop trying. Each time you win that inner argument, you grow stronger. Every time you refuse to believe your weakness, you sharpen your willpower. The truth is, your mind can be your greatest ally or your most dangerous enemy. If you fill it with doubt, it will sabotage you. But if you fill it with purpose, it will carry you through storms. The person who learns to discipline their mind can control their entire life. You can train your thoughts just like you train your body, through consistency, through focus, and through practice. A lazy thought is a seed that grows into a lazy life, but a strong thought can move mountains. Every great success story began when someone decided to think differently, to fight the battle in the mind and win it every single day. Time is the most valuable gift you will ever have, yet it is the one most people throw away without thinking. You can lose money and earn it back. You can lose possessions and replace them, but once time slips through your hands, it never returns. Laziness blinds you to the value of time. It makes you live as if the clock will always wait, as if tomorrow is guaranteed. But time does not pause for anyone. It keeps moving silently, steadily, and one day it will run out. The tragedy is that most people don't realize the worth of time until they have already wasted years of it. They look back and wish they had started sooner, tried harder, or cared more, but wishes cannot rewind the clock. Every second you waste is a part of your life you can never get back. Laziness convinces you that there's always more time, that it's fine to rest a little longer. That opportunity will still be there when you're ready. But time is not loyal to those who delay, it rewards those who act. While a lazy person is waiting for the perfect moment, time is quietly slipping away, carrying with it every dream, every chance, and every possibility. The people who achieve something great are not necessarily smarter or more talented, they are simply those who respected time. They treated every hour as a treasure instead of a toy. The lazy person often says, I'll do it later, but later is a lie time never honors. Later becomes tomorrow, tomorrow becomes next week, and before you know it, you've lost months, even years, to hesitation. Time doesn't slow down because you're unmotivated. It doesn't stop to let you catch up. It moves forward whether you're ready or not. That's why those who understand its value never let laziness steal a single hour. They know that every sunrise is not just another day, it's another chance to build, to grow, to move closer to their purpose. Think of time as a seed. Every hour is a seed you plant into the soil of your life. What you do with it determines what grows. If you plant laziness, you harvest regret. If you plant effort, you harvest success. Many people pray for blessings but waste the time that could create them. Time is not a curse or a gift, it's a test. It asks, "What will you do with me?" And your answer decides the quality of your life. The lazy person lives as if they have endless tomorrows, but life is fragile, unpredictable, and short. You may think you have years ahead, but even the strongest flame burns only for a time. The wise person lives with urgency, not panic but purpose. They know that every hour counts, that small efforts done daily multiply into greatness. Laziness, on the other hand, teaches delay. It tells you that one more moment of comfort won't hurt, but one more moment of comfort is one less moment of progress. Time is also a mirror. It reflects your priorities. What you spend time on shows what truly matters to you. If you spend hours scrolling, sleeping, or complaining, that is where your heart truly is. But if you use your time to learn, to grow, to build, then your future will reflect that. The person who manages their time, well, doesn't just control their schedule. They control their destiny. Laziness steals time in small doses, quietly, subtly, until you look up and realize that what could have been a masterpiece has become a memory. The secret to conquering laziness is realizing that time itself is your greatest weapon. Use it wisely, and it will lift you higher than you can imagine. Waste it, and it will silently destroy you. Every second is a chance to rise. Every minute is a piece of your purpose. When you understand that truth, you stop saying, "I'll do it tomorrow," and start saying, "I'll do it now." Because those who respect time will always be ahead of those who waste it. And when the final moments of life come, you will not fear the ticking clock. You will smile, knowing that you used your time well. Emotions are powerful forces. They can lift you to greatness or drag you into destruction. The problem begins when emotions start ruling your actions instead of you ruling them. Laziness often hides behind emotions. It disguises itself as tiredness, boredom, sadness, or lack of motivation. People say, "I don't feel like it," as if feelings decide their destiny. But feelings are temporary, and purpose is permanent. Those who let emotions control their lives will always start strong but never finish anything. You cannot build a consistent life on unstable emotions. To overcome laziness, you must learn to act even when you don't feel like acting, to move even when your heart says stay, and to push forward when everything in you wants to stop. Every emotion that rises inside you is a test. Some emotions build you, others break you. The lazy person listens to the voice of comfort, while the disciplined person listens to the voice of commitment. The difference between the two is not in strength, but in control. Laziness grows stronger when you give power to your moods. You tell yourself, "I'll start when I feel ready," but readiness never comes because emotions are never constant. They change with the weather, the day, the situation. The truth is, if you wait until you feel right, you will never do what's right. Feelings are meant to be felt, but not followed. When you make emotions your master, you lose control of your direction. There will be days when you feel inspired, and there will be days when you feel empty. But life moves forward regardless of your mood. If you want to build something lasting, you must learn to separate what you feel from what you must do. A lazy person's day is decided by their emotions. A disciplined person's day is decided by their priorities. One lets the heart lead, the other lets purpose lead. The second one always wins. Emotions are like waves. They rise and fall, but they don't have to carry you away. The strong person feels the same fear, the same discouragement, the same temptation to give up, but they don't surrender to it. They acknowledge it, but they move anyway. That is the difference between those who progress and those who remain stuck. Laziness convinces you that if you don't feel motivated, you should wait. But motivation is not the cause of action. It's the result of it. Once you start, once you move, energy begins to grow. But if you stay still, emotion becomes your prison. The truth is, your emotions will often lie to you. They'll tell you that you're not capable, that you're not ready, that it's too hard. They'll exaggerate your weaknesses and silence your strength. When you let emotions lead, you live in reaction. You respond to every feeling, every doubt, every bit of discomfort. But when you learn to control your emotions, you move with intention. You no longer ask, "Do I feel like it?" You simply say, "This is what I must do." That is the mindset of those who conquer laziness. The people who master their emotions understand that discipline is stronger than passion. Passion burns bright but burns out quickly. Discipline keeps burning even when the fire fades. Laziness is a child of uncontrolled emotion. It grows when you give in to your temporary feelings instead of holding on to your eternal goals. If you only work when you feel excited, you'll never achieve anything lasting. Success is born in the moments when you push forward without excitement, when you act through fatigue, when you work through resistance. Every emotion that tempts you to quit is a chance to grow stronger. Every day you overcome your moods, you weaken laziness. Life will not always feel inspiring. You will not always feel driven, but purpose doesn't depend on feeling, it depends on decision. When you act in spite of emotion, you begin to build character, and character is what keeps you steady when the storms of laziness try to pull you down. Emotions are powerful servants but terrible masters. When they serve you, they give you energy, empathy, and creativity. But when they control you, they destroy your consistency, your focus, and your progress. To defeat laziness, you must stop letting your emotions choose your future. Feel them, but don't follow them. You are not your feelings, you are your decisions. Each time you rise above what you feel, you take one more step away from laziness and one more step toward the disciplined, unstoppable version of yourself. Your habits are the foundation of your destiny. What you do repeatedly, day after day, shapes the person you become. Laziness does not appear suddenly. It is built slowly through small choices that seem harmless at first. Every time you choose ease over effort, every time you delay what must be done, every time you say, just this once, you are feeding the habit of laziness. Habits are powerful because they don't ask for your permission once they're formed. They simply take control. You may think you are making choices, but your habits are the ones deciding for you. And if those habits are lazy ones, they will lead you down a road of regret, missed opportunities, and wasted potential. The difference between successful people and those who remain stuck is not found in intelligence, luck, or opportunity. It's found in habits. Small daily disciplines build strong lives, just as small daily neglects destroy them. A person who rises early, plans their day, and does the hard work even when no one is watching will always outrun the person who waits for motivation. Because motivation fades, but habit remains. Habits take what is hard and make it automatic. That is their power. The lazy person is trapped by the habits they have built, the habit of sleeping in, of making excuses, of delaying the difficult. The disciplined person has built habits that carry them forward even on the days when they feel weak. Every action you repeat becomes a pattern, and every pattern becomes a path. Walk a lazy path long enough, and it becomes your life. Habits can either be your greatest weapon or your silent killer. The tragedy is that most people don't notice their habits until it's too late. They blame circumstances or luck, but in truth, their habits have been shaping their destiny all along. The way you spend your mornings, the way you react to failure, the way you manage your time. These are not random details. They are signs of the habits ruling your life. Building strong habits is not about making huge changes overnight. It's about small, consistent actions that accumulate over time. Just as laziness grows one excuse at a time, discipline grows one decision at a time. When you choose to wake up instead of sleep in, when you choose to work instead of delay, when you choose focus over distraction, you are training your mind and body to move in a different direction. The first days are hard, the first steps are slow, but habits are like muscles. The more you train them, the stronger they get. The dangerous thing about lazy habits is that they feel comfortable. They don't hurt immediately, they soothe you. But comfort is deceptive. It gives temporary relief but long-term pain. Productive habits, on the other hand, may hurt at first, but they give long-term peace. The person who builds good habits learns to find satisfaction not in comfort, but in progress. Every time they complete a task, every time they resist an excuse, they are feeding a new identity, one built on strength, not softness. Your habits are also the truest reflection of your priorities. You can say you want to be successful, but if your daily habits don't match that desire, it's only a wish. What you do repeatedly is what you truly value. The lazy person says they want change, but their habits remain the same. The disciplined person acts even before they feel ready, because they know that consistent action creates progress, and progress creates confidence. Habits are not formed by chance, they are formed by choice. You cannot break laziness without replacing it with action. If you stop doing the wrong thing, but never start doing the right thing, laziness will return even stronger. Replace the habit of delay with the habit of discipline, the habit of excuse with the habit of effort, the habit of comfort with the habit of challenge. Over time, your life will begin to transform, not through miracles, but through the quiet, steady power of repeated effort. Every great achiever you've ever admired didn't rise through random luck. They rose through repeated action. They trained their minds and bodies until success became second nature. And you can do the same. The difference between an ordinary life and an extraordinary one is built in the daily habits that no one sees. What you do in private determines what you become in public. Your habits today are painting the picture of your tomorrow. Laziness will always whisper, "Take it easy." But every time you choose discipline over laziness, you weaken that voice a little more. Over time, your habits will start working for you instead of against you. And when that happens, success will no longer depend on how you feel. It will simply be the natural result of the person you've trained yourself to become. Excuses are the most dangerous form of laziness because they sound reasonable. They dress themselves in logic, in justifications, in stories that make you feel right even when you're wrong. Every lazy person carries a pocket full of excuses. Some for why they didn't start, some for why they gave up, and some for why others succeed but they cannot. Excuses are lies that comfort you while they quietly destroy your potential. They make you feel safe while robbing you of progress. They tell you that you have time, that the world is unfair, that it's too late, that it's too early, that you're too tired, too busy, too unlucky. But no excuse has ever built a great life. Excuses only protect laziness and feed failure. The moment you begin to justify your inaction, you stop growing. You convince yourself that your situation is special, that your challenges are greater than others, that your lack of effort is somehow understandable. But everyone faces hardship. Everyone has reasons to quit. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not the absence of struggle. It's the refusal to use struggle as an excuse. Successful people don't deny their difficulties. They simply refuse to be defined by them. They say, "Yes, it's hard. Yes, I'm tired, but I'll still move." Lazy people say, "It's hard, so I won't try." That single decision separates dreamers from doers. Excuses give you temporary comfort but permanent regret. They let you rest today, but they steal your peace tomorrow. Every excuse you make today becomes a reason for your future pain. When you say, "I'll do it later," you create a habit of delay. When you say, "I can't because of this," you create a habit of surrender. Over time, excuses form a wall around you, a wall made of your own words. And behind that wall, your dreams slowly suffocate. The truth is, there will always be a reason not to act. There will always be something inconvenient, something imperfect, something that makes you hesitate. If you wait for the perfect moment, you'll wait your entire life. Excuses are easy because they shift responsibility away from you. They blame time, people, luck, and circumstance. But when you blame, you give away your power. You become a prisoner of your own story, waiting for someone or something else to change your life. But freedom begins the moment you say, "No more excuses. I am responsible." That is the moment you take your power back. Excuses also feed fear. Every time you tell yourself you can't, that belief grows stronger. The mind starts to accept it as truth. You begin to believe that you are the kind of person who doesn't finish, who doesn't try, who can't win. And when that belief settles, laziness doesn't need to fight anymore. You've already surrendered. To destroy laziness, you must destroy excuses. You must catch them the moment they appear, challenge them, and replace them with truth. When your mind says, "I don't have time," remind yourself that everyone has the same 24 hours. When it says, "I don't know how," say, "Then I will learn." When it says, "I'm too tired," answer, "Effort brings energy." Excuses lose power when truth speaks louder. Excuses make you a spectator in your own life. They make you watch others succeed while you stand still, clapping for their courage and blaming your conditions. But every person who has achieved greatness once stood where you stand now, full of doubts, surrounded by challenges, and tempted by excuses. The only difference is that they chose to act anyway. They used what they had, started where they were, and did what they could. And through that effort, they created opportunity instead of waiting for it. The habit of making excuses is one of the hardest to break because it feels harmless, it feels honest. You think you're just explaining, but in truth, you're just escaping. Excuses don't protect you, they imprison you. They keep you small, keep you safe, and keep you the same. To break that cycle, you must become brutally honest with yourself. Admit where you've been lazy. Admit where you've avoided the truth. Admit that you could have done more but chose not to. Honesty is painful, but it is the beginning of freedom. Once you stop making excuses, your energy shifts. You stop waiting and start moving. You stop complaining and start creating. You begin to see possibilities where before you saw problems. The same time you once wasted defending your inaction becomes the time you use to build your future. Because excuses are heavy, they weigh down your spirit. But responsibility is light. it lifts you higher. When you finally take full ownership of your choices, laziness begins to die. You no longer need motivation to move. You move because you understand that no one else will do it for you. And that realization, that moment of truth, becomes the turning point of your life. Discipline is far greater than motivation because it does not depend on how you feel. It depends on what you have decided. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the steady fire that keeps burning long after the excitement fades. Motivation is emotional. It comes and goes. One day you feel inspired, the next day you feel empty. But discipline is a decision made in the mind, not in the moment. It is the inner command that says, I will do what needs to be done, whether I feel like it or not. Laziness thrives on the absence of discipline. It waits for the right feeling, the right time, the right push. But discipline creates movement even when motivation disappears. Those who depend on motivation remain inconsistent, but those who live by discipline achieve greatness even in silence. The lazy person says, I'll work when I feel inspired, but the disciplined person says, I'll work until inspiration comes. That single difference changes everything, because action produces energy, not the other way around. When you act consistently, your mind learns to follow your lead. You stop chasing motivation and start creating it. The truth is, those who achieve extraordinary things rarely feel motivated every day. They feel tired, they feel doubtful, they face setbacks. But they keep going because they are ruled by discipline, not emotion. Discipline is the bridge between desire and achievement. It turns your dreams into direction and your direction into destiny. Discipline is not punishment, it's structure. It's not about denying yourself pleasure. It's about building the strength to control it. A disciplined person still feels temptation, but they do not bow to it. They understand that every small act of self-control builds power. The person who can command themselves no longer needs to be commanded by others. Laziness fades when you train yourself to obey your higher purpose instead of your lower feelings. Every time you rise when your mind says sleep, every time you choose effort when your emotions say rest, you are sharpening your inner strength. The secret to lasting success lies not in bursts of inspiration, but in daily discipline. Anyone can work hard when they feel excited. But discipline is what makes you work when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, when the results haven't shown yet. It's what makes you wake up before the sun, study after others have stopped, and keep believing when progress is invisible. Discipline doesn't care about the weather, the mood, or the situation. It just moves forward. That's why disciplined people seem unstoppable. They don't wait for the perfect day. They create it through consistency. Motivation feeds your start, but discipline guarantees your finish. Many people begin strong but never reach the end because they lose the emotional fuel that got them started. But those who rely on discipline keep building even when the excitement fades. They know that the work done in silence builds the strength that will one day speak for them. The lazy wait for the right feeling. The disciplined know that feeling follows doing. You don't need to feel ready. You need to act ready. And the moment you do, your actions begin to reshape your emotions. Discipline also brings freedom. It may sound like a restriction, but it's the opposite. When you are disciplined, you no longer live as a slave to mood swings, distractions, or impulses. You take command of your time and your mind. Discipline gives you control over your future because it helps you do what must be done now. Laziness, on the other hand, is a form of slavery. It binds you to comfort, and comfort binds you to regret. Freedom doesn't come from doing what you want. It comes from mastering what you must. Many people pray for success, but they ignore the fact that success answers only to discipline. Every great athlete, artist, or thinker has one thing in common: daily consistency. They did not wait for the fire to come from the outside. They kept the fire burning within. Discipline is not glamorous. It's not loud or dramatic. It's often repetitive, quiet, and lonely. But it is in those repetitive acts that greatness is born. While others are sleeping, the disciplined are preparing. While others are talking, the disciplined are doing. And when the moment of opportunity arrives, they are ready because discipline prepared them long before motivation appeared. The beauty of discipline is that it transforms your identity. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. At first, it feels forced. You fight yourself to stay consistent. But soon it becomes who you are. You no longer need to push yourself because discipline becomes your nature. Laziness cannot survive in the presence of such strength. When you live by discipline, you stop being controlled by feelings and start being guided by purpose. You learn that success is not about how you feel today, but about what you choose to do every day, regardless of how you feel. Discipline is the quiet power that builds empires, shapes character, and turns ordinary people into extraordinary leaders. It doesn't shout, it doesn't boast, it simply endures. Laziness may seem stronger in the moment, but discipline always wins in the long run. Because motivation can start the journey, but only discipline can finish it. And in the end, it's not the person who begins with fire that wins, it's the one who keeps walking long after the fire fades. Comfort is the silent enemy of greatness. It feels safe, warm, and harmless, but it slowly kills ambition. Laziness doesn't always look like sleeping too long or doing nothing. It often looks like living in comfort zones, repeating the same easy routines, and avoiding anything that feels difficult or uncertain. Comfort tells you that you're doing fine, even when deep inside, you know you were made for more. It whispers that you deserve rest, even when you haven't earned it. And if you listen to it long enough, it becomes your prison, a golden cage that looks peaceful from the outside, but holds your potential hostage within. Every great dream ever achieved was born out of discomfort. Growth only happens when you step beyond what is easy. Just as muscles grow only when they're stretched and challenged, your mind and spirit grow only when you face what's hard. Laziness loves comfort because comfort demands nothing. It asks for no risk, no courage, no discipline. But comfort also gives nothing. It takes your time, your drive, your hunger, and replaces them with routine and emptiness. The longer you stay comfortable, the weaker your will becomes. You stop aiming higher, stop trying harder, and slowly begin to settle for less than what you are capable of. Comfort gives the illusion of peace, but it hides decay. You may feel relaxed, but your purpose is dying quietly inside you. The person who chooses comfort over challenge might feel good for a moment, but that same comfort breeds regret later. Life was never meant to be easy, it was meant to be meaningful. And meaning is always found on the other side of struggle. Those who embrace discomfort, who face challenges with courage, who dare to move forward when it hurts, are the ones who grow strong. Laziness, on the other hand, avoids pain and ends up living in the same cycle, year after year, wondering why nothing ever changes. The comfort zone is not a place, it's a mindset. It's the voice that says, "You've done enough," when you know you could do more. It's the feeling that says, "Stay here, it's safe," when you were born to go further. Comfort tells you that struggle is bad, but struggle is where character is built. When you choose challenge over comfort, you build the kind of strength that cannot be broken. The person who avoids difficulty avoids growth, and the person who avoids growth avoids success. Laziness uses comfort as its hiding place. It hides behind rest, behind routine, behind excuses that sound reasonable. But the truth is simple: the more you protect your comfort, the more you delay your calling. Comfort is also deceptive because it can look like success. You can have a job, a routine, a paycheck, and still be trapped in comfort. You stop pushing for better because you think you have enough, but enough is the language of mediocrity. True fulfillment comes not from comfort, but from contribution, doing something that challenges you, something that matters, something that forces you to give your best. Comfort keeps you alive, but challenge makes you alive. Those who choose challenge over ease find purpose in their struggle, strength in their effort, and joy in their progress. There is nothing wrong with rest. Rest is necessary, but rest becomes poison when it turns into comfort that stops you from moving forward. Laziness hides behind the word rest and slowly replaces your discipline with delay. You say you're waiting for the right time, but the truth is you're avoiding the discomfort of beginning. The right time never comes. It's created through action. You must be willing to face the discomfort of early mornings, long hours, failure, and frustration. That discomfort is not your enemy, it's your teacher. It shapes you into someone stronger than the person you were yesterday. Comfort also dulls your hunger. When life becomes too easy, your dreams start to fade. The fire that once burned bright inside you becomes quiet. You begin to accept good enough instead of great. You convince yourself that you're content, but deep down, there's an ache, a quiet knowing that you've settled. And nothing is more painful than realizing that you became less than what you could have been because you chose to stay comfortable. Growth demands that you break free from that softness and step into the unknown, even when it scares you. Every great transformation begins with a moment of discomfort. The athlete who trains while tired, the student who studies while others rest, the worker who stays disciplined while others complain. These are the people who rise. They understand that comfort is temporary, but growth is eternal. They trade the ease of today for the strength of tomorrow. Laziness does the opposite. It trades tomorrow's greatness for today's ease. It chooses the short comfort of inaction over the lasting satisfaction of success. To destroy laziness, you must make peace with discomfort. You must learn to walk through pain, uncertainty, and resistance without giving up. The more you expose yourself to challenge, the less power comfort has over you. In time, what once felt impossible becomes natural. The mountain that once scared you becomes your training ground. The more you stretch yourself, the more you realize that comfort was never safety, it was stagnation. And the only way to truly live is to keep moving beyond what feels easy, to choose growth over comfort, and to keep walking the hard road that leads to greatness. Procrastination is the thief of destiny. It quietly whispers you have time while stealing your most valuable resource, your present moment. Laziness often hides behind procrastination, disguising itself as waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, or the perfect feeling. But perfection never comes, and so days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and dreams turn into dust. Every time you say, "I'll do it later," you are building a habit of delay, and delay is the enemy of progress. The truth is, there is never a perfect moment, only the moment you decide to act. The people who change their lives are not those who wait for the right time, but those who take imperfect action in the wrong time and make it right through persistence. Procrastination feeds on fear, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of discomfort. It convinces you that you'll act when you feel ready, but readiness is an illusion. You don't become ready before you start, you become ready because you started. Action creates momentum, and momentum kills laziness. The longer you delay, the heavier your tasks feel, and the more your mind begins to resist. The mountain in front of you grows taller not because it actually changed, but because your hesitation made it seem impossible. The first step, however small, breaks that illusion. Once you move, your energy begins to rise, your confidence grows, and your fear begins to fade. Procrastination doesn't just waste time, it erodes your belief in yourself. Each time you break a promise to yourself, you teach your mind that your words don't matter. You begin to lose trust in your own discipline. That's why lazy people often feel stuck, not because they lack ability, but because they've weakened their own faith in their consistency. Every time you keep delaying, you silently say, "I can't." But when you act immediately, even in small ways, you begin to rebuild that inner strength. You start proving to yourself that you are capable of keeping your word, and that self-trust is what gives you power to break the cycle of delay. The habit of procrastination is built one small choice at a time. You don't become lazy overnight. It happens slowly through repeated moments of hesitation. You say, "I'll do it later," once, twice, then 100 times, until it becomes who you are. The way to destroy procrastination is to reverse the process with small acts of immediate action. Start small, but start now. If it takes 2 minutes, do it instantly. If it feels overwhelming, break it into steps, but don't wait for motivation to begin. Because momentum is not born out of thought, it's born out of movement. And once you begin, something inside you awakens. The energy you were waiting for begins to appear because action fuels inspiration, not the other way around. Procrastination is not about laziness alone, it's about emotional control. The mind avoids tasks that cause discomfort, not because they're hard, but because they trigger fear or uncertainty. When you procrastinate, you are protecting your feelings at the cost of your future. The key to overcoming it is to feel that fear and act anyway. Every time you do something despite discomfort, you weaken the hold of procrastination over your life. Eventually, it stops controlling you, and you begin to live with urgency and purpose. People who live with urgency understand that time is not promised. They treat every moment as sacred because they know that delay is death to destiny. Procrastination also steals opportunities. Life rewards those who act, not those who wait. While you hesitate, someone else is moving. While you plan, someone else is doing. And life never pauses for those who delay. It moves forward without them. Many people look back years later and realize that their greatest regrets came not from what they did, but from what they never began. Every missed opportunity was once disguised as something I'll do later. Laziness convinces you that you'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow is not guaranteed. The only real time you have is now. And if you can act now, no matter how small, you take control of your destiny. Procrastination also drains your energy. The longer you avoid a task, the more mental weight it adds to your mind. You think about it constantly, feel guilty for not doing it, and yet still don't act. This cycle consumes more energy than the task itself. The moment you begin, the weight lifts. Action brings clarity, and clarity brings relief. That's why successful people seem to have more energy. They don't waste it in hesitation. They act quickly, finish tasks early, and move forward. They understand that mental freedom is found in immediate action, not in endless thinking. When you decide to destroy procrastination, you are not just fighting a habit, you are reclaiming your time, your focus, and your life. You learn to live intentionally instead of reactively. You stop waiting for the right moment and start creating it. Each day you act immediately, you build a stronger sense of discipline, confidence, and peace. Laziness begins to die because procrastination can no longer feed it. The faster you act, the faster your life changes. The key is to replace delay with decisiveness, hesitation with action, and excuses with effort. In the end, procrastination is not defeated by motivation or fear. It's defeated by action. Every time you choose to move instead of waiting, you grow stronger. Every time you act, you step closer to the person you were meant to be. The power to change your life lies not in tomorrow, but in what you do today, right now. Because every minute you delay is a minute lost forever. And every minute you act is a seed planted for the future you desire. The company you keep determines the direction of your life. Laziness is contagious. It spreads silently through association. When you surround yourself with people who lack drive, who make excuses, who settle for less, you begin to absorb their mindset without even realizing it. The people closest to you either push you toward excellence or pull you toward mediocrity. Every word you hear, every attitude you witness, every behavior you tolerate begins to shape who you become. You can't spend your time with unmotivated, undisciplined people and expect to live a life of passion and purpose. Your environment always wins over your intentions. If you walk with those who waste time, soon you'll waste yours. If you walk with those who speak negatively, you'll begin to think small. But if you walk with those who work hard, think big, and aim high, you'll start to reflect their energy and rise with them. People's energy is powerful. It can lift you or drain you. A lazy person's words are filled with comfort, shortcuts, and excuses. They say things like, "You're working too hard," "Relax," "You've done enough," or "Why bother?" These words seem harmless, but they slowly weaken your fire. You begin to second-guess your effort, question your goals, and eventually fall into the same trap of comfort and complacency. Success requires a certain level of solitude and selectivity. You cannot grow in soil that resists growth. If you want to kill laziness, you must remove yourself from people who encourage it. That doesn't mean you stop caring about them. It means you stop allowing them to influence your standards. You must choose your circle carefully because your circle becomes your mirror. If you want discipline, walk with disciplined people. If you want drive, walk with dreamers who act, not talkers who delay. Because what you see daily is what you start to believe is normal. And if you spend your days with those who refuse to move forward, their version of normal will soon become yours. Laziness thrives in company. When people see others doing less, they feel justified in doing less too. But excellence also spreads the same way. When you spend time around people who are passionate, consistent, and relentless, you begin to adopt their habits. You can't help it. It's human nature. Your standards rise to match the environment you're in. That's why the fastest way to change your life is to change who you spend your time with. You don't have to cut everyone off, but you must learn to limit access to those who limit your growth. Protect your energy as fiercely as you protect your dreams, because both are connected. Be around people who make you uncomfortable in the best way. People who challenge your excuses, who demand your best, who won't let you settle for good enough. These people might not always make you feel good, but they make you better. They'll remind you of your potential when you forget it. They'll call you out when you get lazy. They'll push you beyond your limits because they see something in you that comfort cannot see. These are the people you need. The ones who sharpen your focus and hold you accountable to the person you said you wanted to become. If you want to overcome laziness, you must also become the kind of person others can look up to. Be the one who inspires action, not excuses. The one who shows up early, works hard, and refuses to give in to comfort. Energy moves both ways. When you live with passion, others around you begin to feel it. You become the light in a world full of distraction and apathy. You remind people that greatness is possible and that discipline is not a burden but a blessing. The environment you choose today determines the habits you'll have tomorrow. If your circle celebrates laziness, you'll never rise. If it celebrates growth, you'll never stop improving. The company you keep is like a mirror. It reflects the standards you're willing to accept. If you surround yourself with people who dream small, who avoid challenges, who seek comfort, you'll start to become like them without even noticing. But when you surround yourself with people who talk about goals, learning, progress, and legacy, your mind begins to expand. Their energy becomes your inspiration, and their discipline becomes your example. Sometimes breaking free from laziness means walking alone for a while, because not everyone will understand your hunger, your discipline, your desire to improve. Some will mock it, some will doubt it, and some will try to pull you back into the old version of yourself. But you must stand firm. The road to greatness is often lonely at first, but eventually you'll find those who walk with purpose, who value growth, who share your fire. And when you find them, you'll realize that you were never meant to blend in with the lazy. You were meant to rise above them and lead by example. In the end, your environment is the soil in which your destiny grows. You cannot plant the seeds of success in the soil of laziness and expect a harvest of greatness. The people you walk with today shape the person you become tomorrow. Choose wisely. Because while laziness destroys quietly, the right company can ignite a fire so strong that nothing can put it out. My friends, life is not a rehearsal. It's the one chance you have to rise, to shine, to become all that you were meant to be. Laziness is not just an enemy of success, it is the silent killer of purpose, the slow poison that robs you of your time, your dreams, and your destiny. Every minute wasted in delay is a piece of your life that will never return. But the good news is, you still have this moment.
Right now.
And this moment is powerful enough to rewrite your story. You can choose to rise above comfort, to silence procrastination, to discipline your mind, and to surround yourself with people who ignite your fire instead of dimming your light. You can choose to stop waiting for the perfect time and start creating it. You can choose to act now, not tomorrow, not someday, as now, because greatness is born in the present, not in promises of later. The choice is yours. You can remain chained to laziness and regret, or you can stand up, take control, and live with passion, purpose, and discipline. Don't let your potential die in silence. Don't let the fire within you go cold. You were not created to live small or slow. You were created to move mountains, to inspire others, to live a life that matters. So rise up, shake off the dust of delay, step out of the shadows of comfort, look laziness in the eye and declare, "You no longer rule me." Take command of your time, your mind, your future, and walk boldly toward the life you were destined to live. Because once you destroy laziness, nothing in this world can destroy you.